Okay, guys, welcome back to Gospel News. We are still here bringing you update back to back on as it take the go. And today being the 27th day of April, Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, said we heard that he will be going to the Supreme Court. And they say that they are to hear his appeal today as the lawyers plead for justice. Earlier today, we got a tweet from Barrister Aloy Ejimakor concerning this particular case that they were about to hear today. And the thing shocked me. I didn't even know that there was going to be a case today. And according to his tweet, he says that as the Supreme Court convenes to hear Onyenduma Nnamdi Kanu's appeal today, let equity, justice, and good conscience guide the hand of the court to undo the grave injustice that was done to Nnamdi Kanu almost 2 years ago. Injustice has an expiry date. Let today be the expiry date. That was his message, and as you can see on the screen, that the date shows today, 27th of April, 2023. We are going to go into details and find out how it all went down at the Supreme Court today, being the 27th. And the IPOB has also reacted to that. They say President Buhari's sins are unforgivable, IPOB. They say that what this failed president of the zoo has committed, say that it is so grave that they cannot forgive it at all, that this Oponko Nyanogoro must collect woto from them anytime, any day, where we say they get the opportunity to serve him breakfast. Now, as we proceed, this man, this noble man, what they call PLO Lumumba. This man is a very learned man. He said that African governments are doing too little to stop the spread of Islamic terrorists in the continent. He said that Africa is being consumed by these Taliban people, these Fulani terrorists will be said in they spread like wildfire every day in the country, constituting nuisance, killing people and destroying lives and properties. This man made this statement and said, with the way things are going, that he doesn't see any future for the continent of Africa, that things are going to get from even worse to grave and dire consequences. Say we might not even recover in the nearest future, say with the way things are going. We'll go straight into the details and find out what is going on how Nnamdi Kanu's issue went at the Supreme Court today. Barrister Aloy Ejimakor counsel for the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Nnamdi Kanu, has asked the Supreme Court to be guided by equity, justice, and good conscience while ruling on Kanu's appeal on his continued detention by the failed Nigerian government today being Thursday, the 27th day of April 2023. This comes after the Court of Appeal ruling and order for his unconstitutional release. Ejimakor said that the Nigeria's apex court should undo the grave injustice that was done to Kanu almost 2 years ago, saying that injustice has an expiry date, and today, Thursday, should be the expiry date of such misjudgment and illegal detention of the leader of IPOB. As the Supreme Court convenes to hear Onyenduma Nnamdi Kanu's appeal today, let equity, justice, and good conscience guide the hand of the court to undo the grave injustice that was done to Nnamdi Kanu almost 2 years ago. Injustice has an expiry date, and let today be the date, he said. One of Kanu's lawyer, Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor, on Thursday morning in a short statement said that the Supreme Court will today, Thursday, hear Nnamdi Kanu's appeal over the continued illegal detention of our indefatigable client, Onyenduma Nnamdi Kanu. We are very firm in our belief that the Almighty Chukwu Okike Abiama God will take absolute control of today's proceedings. His grace will prevail in judgment over today's outing at the Supreme Court. The appeal court in October 2022 last year discharged and acquitted Kanu of all treasonable felony and terrorism charges leveled against him by the failed Nigerian government. That is the handiwork of this dry man, where they call Muhammadu Buhari in Asorok, who has even by fire by force labeled IPOB as a terrorist group, which doesn't hold any water at all. They say this thing doesn't work, but look at what the country is saying. Anywhere you see IPOB, they say na terrorists, na this and that. How does that hold water when the court has ruled that these people are not terrorists? Even the country cannot even convict the leader of IPOB, which is Nnamdi Kanu. Una no see am. So the appeal court also ordered his immediate and unconditional release from detention, where he had been incarcerated since June 2021, when he was kidnapped from Kenya and renditioned to Nigeria illegally. But the Nigerian government has continued to detain the IPOB leader in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS. Despite his failing health, they have refused to allow him have access to his personal doctors who are supposed to take good care of him and make sure that he is doing well. When they see how it take happen. So we are wishing Nnamdi Kanu, and I will bring you update on how the ruling went, whether it was adjourned and what date that this judgment will be carried out again. So because of all these nonsenses that the government is doing in Africa, in Nigeria in short, let me be specific, and against Igbos and Biafrans in particular, they said that IPOB has reacted and said that what Buhari is doing is unforgivable, that nobody can forgive these things that he is doing. The indigenous people of Biafra has knocked President Muhammadu Buhari for seeking forgiveness from Nigerians, at the same time indicating his interest to relocate to Niger Republic, where he came from. Say this man, this Oponko now, is not from Nigeria. I just saw one picture here on Facebook, and that picture shows clearly that this man is looking so fresh, and he's not the Buhari, the original Buhari that we know. I'm looking for that particular picture, but I don't come out. I'm supposed to have shown you people that picture, so you will see how fresh this one is looking, claiming to be Buhari. When you look at this picture, you begin to think why Uibo people cannot renew themselves to be young, but this old man that is almost 90 years or something is here claiming to be Buhari, where we say don't dry. Remember, that is the reason why he became Oponko and something else. But today, we now have a fresh-looking Buhari eating milk and drinking tea in Asorok, while Loreto Onochi, they serve the breakfast for there. The thing still they shock me. In a statement issued on Friday by the group's spokesperson, Emma Powerful, the separatist group said, "To us in IPOB, his sins are unpardonable, and we don't care if he relocates to Mars or Jupiter instead of Niger Republic with his generation. He still won't be saved from his atrocities. His crimes will find him out by the time he finishes relocating. IPOB will continue to expose him because we know that he is from Niger Republic. Before now, nobody believed IPOB, and currently this fake Buhari or the impostor has made it open that he is going back to where he came from." It added, "Very sad indeed. Which of the sins and atrocities he committed does he want to be forgiven? Does he really want Nigerians to forgive him? As long as IPOB is concerned, the sins he masterminded and implemented are unforgivable." The group described Buhari as an impostor from Niger Republic. Let the man Buhari and the cabal in Asorok begin appeasement for their numerous sins against Biafrans by releasing Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally, as ordered by the Nigerian courts and the UN working group, it said. Buhari recently sought forgiveness from people he had hurt, saying, "God gave me an incredible opportunity to serve the country. We are all humans. If I have hurt some people along the line of my service to the country, I ask that they pardon me. All those that I have hurt, I ask that they pardon me." That was Buhari begging people, which we know that it is not possible, that he is only lying. Speaking inside the banquet hall of the presidential villa, Abuja, the president also said, "I can't wait to go home to Daura. If they make any noise to disturb me in Daura, I will leave for the Niger Republic. I deliberately arranged to be as far away as possible. I got what I wanted, and I will quietly retire to my hometown," which is in Niger Republic. Una dey hear am, and the thing where they talk be that. In spite of technology, it will not be easy to get to Daura, he added. But terrorists will get to Daura. Fulani terrorists will get to Daura, and they will visit you there, at least. But despite technology, they don't need technology to reach there. And they see the matter how it take they go. So, but we come out there, this Buhari now, they see this fake Buhari will be say, they don't want to make this country better. So, now them they help the spread of this Islam for Africa. Now waiting this man, they tell us. And you see waiting they happen for Sudan so. And they say, oh, they are going to rescue our people there. Up till now, they never still rescue them finish. We just heard that other countries have been able to rescue their citizens peacefully, and they have returned back to their countries. But our own, they still there, they struggle. Despite the available free flight by an Igbo Biafran, which is Allen Onyema. I'm going to watch this video from yesterday. These are the two buses Nigeria were able to provide for these people in Sudan.
So the bus is in there? That's not students in Paris. I maybe as a bus is about by that's very. I don't know. So that's the bus is. Five. We have 5 here. So that's not one that's going to tell us about that. Student like you wouldn't know.
All right, so these the buses that were made available to transport our people from that Sudan to Egypt. Now, this man has come to tell us that the African government are the people sponsoring the Fulani terrorists in Africa to make sure that they Islamize the whole continent. Foremost anti-corruption advocate and former director of the Kenyan Law School, Professor PLO Lumumba, has expressed concern over the apparent nonchalant attitude of governments of African countries toward curtailing the scourge of militant Islamic terrorists ravaging the continent, especially the Fulanis. He made the remarks when he appeared as a guest at the online interview program 90 Minutes Africa hosted by Rudolph Okonkwo on Sunday. A large swathe of Africa is currently under the occupation of Islamic terrorists and other non-state actors whose violent activities has led to the death of thousands and displacement of hundreds of thousands of innocent people. In Nigeria, the menacing activities of Boko Haram and the Islamic State have devastated many communities in the north, with mass kidnappings, killings, and extortion featuring prominently in their atrocious methods. Professor Lumumba, who is the chairman of the PLO Lumumba Foundation, argued that the ideology of these terrorist groups operating in Africa should be viewed in the context of the Abuja Declaration, which stated that there is a plot by radical elements in the Islamic world to Arabize and Islamize Africa. Una dey hear am? This is why everybody must support the exit of Biafra from Nigeria, because what these Fulanis, so-called Islam people in Nigeria wants to achieve is to Islamize everybody by fire, by force. The former director of the defunct Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, KACC, went further, saying that it is in the context of the statement from the Abuja Declaration that we must see the Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, and other splinter groups' activities in Africa. One can see in the entire Sahelian region now, from Mauritania to Mali to Burkina Faso to Sudan to Niger to Libya, how this agenda is playing out. In my view, there is no deliberate effort on the part of African government to deal with this particular version of Islam, which I think is not classical Islam. There are terrorists who are using the name of Islam to spread an ideology which is violent and is designed to dominate. And they have not only captured the Sahelian region and parts of North Africa, but they can also be found in the Horn of Africa, the law professor said. This is the reason why we must come off for Nigeria. He expressed concern about the future of Africa if the trend is not reversed. And we don't seem to have a plan to check their spread in the continent. If we are not careful in the next 50 years, it is this bastardized version of Islam that will dominate the continent of Africa, Professor Lumumba said. PLO Lumumba, who is a solicitor at Lumumba and Lumumba Advocate in Nairobi, Kenya, said that the political crises that arise after most elections in Africa are as a result of failure of Africans to tinker with imported governance system that they called democracy to suit their local realities. That is all this democracy when they hear, like somebody like this, one chicha they call with Katrono Luang. In the democracy in Africa, they blah 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 blah. They'll be rattling and rambling on social media, telling you democracy in Nigeria, this one. These are the people, the evil people who we have in Africa, helping the spread of terrorists in Africa. Now, I don't refer to them as democracy, but as imported governance system that doesn't reflect the African reality. He said in reference to the system of governance in Africa, he said that all these democracies are fake, where they take the loot money, thieves, criminals in government are using to cash out and then loot money to foreign countries in the name of democracy. The renowned Pan-Africanists also called on African government through the instrumentality of the African Union to lend a strong voice to the demand for reparation for the devotion wrought on the continent by long years of slavery and colonization, which is this one that all this Katrina Luang and the Queen Elizabeth them carried out in Nigeria. Professor Lumumba agreed that there is currently a neo-colonial scramble for Africa, which involves new players like the Chinese and Russians. Shebi, I don't talk and before here, say, both all these people who now they run to, Russians, they don't colonize anybody, they don't kidnap anybody. You are calling China to come and colonize you. Now, so Africa, our people, especially this Igbo youth and generation, we be say we they see now. Some of them are senseless, so no get sense. Once when I hear Russia, yay! When I go they shout, the angels have come and forget the West to this one. I've told you people, both the West to both your Chinese and Russians, all of them are the same people. They are colonizers. So those ones will be the modern colonizers, since the old timers are no longer suitable for you. They want to use new version of colonizers to come and colonize you. And some of you are also falling for it because you lack common sense and way of proper reasoning. Professor Lumumba agreed that there is currently a neo-colonial scramble for Africa, which involves these people. And to counter this new scramble, he called on Africa to hit to the core for the first president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, who advocates for a unified Africa with a single government, army, and currency. He said, if we want to ensure that African countries are sustainable, we must have a united government which is confederable in character, but which allows individual units to deal with matters of daily lives, such as policing, taxation, agriculture, education, and etc. So the federal government will only deal with issues of currency, foreign policy and policy coordination. In that way, all boundaries will be dissolved and we would become a unified continent in diversity. I see the possibility. It will not be in our lifetime, but if we plant the seed today and nurture it, in 100 years, that seed will grow into a tree, and that tree will become the Confederation of African States. And waiting this man can't tell us, say both Russia and China say they want to become these modern colonizers. We go capture una. In another way, we be say una sense, know the reason. Whenever we tell you say that these Russians are the same white people that we do even worse than the West, when I go say, oh no, forget to shut up about Russia. This one, as if say Russia, go to Russia and stay. Some of you are staying in America, staying in Europe, but you can't survive in Russia. Now they talk rubbish. Your head no correct. Nonsense. I bet man come on for this place before I change my mind.